Okay, we are live with our first selection show, the 1A show. We have Dane Fueling, who is the head of the seating committee, the probably hated committee. They're going to have to have bodyguards after today. Luckily, he's in a bunker, middle of nowhere, Illinois, so no one can find him. And we also have Coach Brett Smith of Prairie Heights is here. He's going to talk about his team and talk about how they think they're going to do. They're having a pretty good season right now, so definitely they're looking to improve on their fourth place finish from a year ago. We'll start kind of with a little bit of the format so that everyone kind of knows what we're going to talk about and everything. First things first is the format of the team state. There's going to be 4 3-team pools. Top 8 teams are seeded, and in each pool there's going to be 2 seeded teams. Like one pool will have the 1 and 8 seeds, one other pool 2 and 7. Third pool will be 3 and 6, and the last pool will be 4 and 5. And then the last 4 teams are randomly drawn by random ping pong balls chosen by trained mice to fill in the spots there. So we have the brackets and the seeds. First thing we're going to go over is the seeds and kind of a little bit of what went into the seeding and what teams, were on the outside looking in. Just 1 second here. Gotta bring it up. Oh, shoot. There we go. Okay. Basically, what you should see here is now our top 8 seeds. Prairie Heights is number 1. Over Adams Central. Dane, I know that one was you had Adams Central number 1 all year long. What kind of boosted the Panthers over the Flying Jets?
Well, the duel against Leo for Prairie Heights, although Adams Central came back and beat Leo then that same day, the scores were impressive enough, I think. I think you saw Prairie Heights scored 21 points against Yorktown. That impressed us. And Prairie Heights had the win over South Bend Riley, and that was a better win than anything that Adams Central had. We ran them against each other. They're really, really tight in the end. I don't know if there's really any difference between number 1 and number 2 in this class. I'm pretty sure these 2 are destined for the finals, and I think we definitely got the right top 2 and separated in this bracket.
Okay, I know that one was. I mean, that's one I was kind of pointing as like a couple weeks ago. I was like, Prairie Heights is pretty good. But Adams Central, they're obviously going to be. Both teams have a lot of tradition, especially for small schools, and they're definitely looking good. Number 3 is Bremen, 4 is Monrovia, 5 is Tecumseh, number 6 Milan, number 7 Eastside, and number 8 West Central. Kind of the biggest glaring thing that people are probably going to see is Churubusco, defending champions. They're not even seeded. They haven't had, they lost a lot, and especially when you're at 1A level, you lose a couple guys, it'll hurt you. It doesn't look like they replaced very well compared to last year. So tell us a little bit about what kind of went into the rest of the 3 through 8 and the unseeded teams, if they had, how close they were to getting seeded and stuff.
Yeah, as we went through it, we tried to look at who their losses were to. A lot of them had losses to bigger schools, and, that's understandable. Trying to compare the 1A teams with each other. Bremen did have a loss, but they avenged that loss to LaVille. We're going to have new 1A rankings out tonight, and LaVille's actually in the top 10. Bremen has a win over 2A South Bend St. Joe, who's in the team state tournament. That win was impressive. Going down the line, both Bremen and Monrovia do have full lineups, which, as we ran head-to-heads and those types of things, was something that we had to look at too. The 12 guys that West Central is going to put out on the mat are really good, but are they going to be able to recover the 12 points that they're going to lose with the forfeit at 106 and 113? Those are all things we took into consideration. Monrovia had a nice win over Martinsville, who's a decent bigger school. Tecumseh's lineup impressed us as we went through theirs. And then as we went through, Milan had some wins over some other 1A teams that were in the hunt for top 10. Eastside had the head-to-head win over Cherubusco, which is really where Cherubusco ended up falling out of the seeds. And West Central ended up returning, I think, 8 or 9 guys back from last year of the 12 guys that they have. They had some nice wins also. They ended up getting the 8 seed. Cherubusco was right there. But in the end, the dual score with Prairie Heights and the loss to Eastside and Fremont was enough to keep them out. As far as the other teams go, Westview's had a rough time. I know they didn't get everybody back that they were counting on having back. I think they've got 4 guys who placed at sectional or qualified for regional that didn't come out this year or not wrestling varsity for any reason. And then Triton Central and Central Noble just had too many losses on their resume to be considered for seeds.
Yeah, so we'll go with the pools. You can now see what we have as pools. Pool A, the winner will face off against Pool B's winner. Pool C, winner versus Pool D. Yep. Sorry, we've been having some cupcakes. Little cupcake break. So in the semifinals, it'll Pool A and Pool B, and Pool C and Pool D will wrestle. Triton Central draws into Pool A with West Central and Prairie Heights. Westview goes in Pool B with Monrovia and Tecumseh, and then Pool C has Cherubusco draws in with Eastside and Adams Central. So we're going to have a early rematch of last year's championship, probably the second round, I think. And then Pool D has Central Noble drawing in with Bremen and Milan. So we'll be posting the bracket link. This is what the brackets are going to look like if you are kind of trying to figure it out. The first round is going to be the lower seeded team and the unseeded team, so like West Central and Triton Central, Eastside, Cherubusco, Milan, Central Noble. Then the second round is going to be the higher seeded team, Prairie Heights, Triton Central, and Central Cherubusco. And then the last round is going to be the 2 seeded teams, which is basically going to be a pseudo quarterfinal match for, if all things go how they are supposed to on paper, right, Dane?
Oh, they will. They will.
So that's basically how we're going to do it. Prairie Heights has the number 1 seed. We're going to talk with Coach Smith right now. As soon as I stop showing, you guys can look at my beautiful face. Coach Smith, I know you guys in M Central are probably the top 2. What kind of things do you guys do to prepare for not only like events like this, but even for like sectional and state runs, such like that?
One of the big things is we just try to treat it just like any other tournament. We go to Harrison at the beginning of the year. That's where we pick up South Bend, Riley, and Harrison. We know it's going to be brutal schedule going down the road. Like I said earlier, we go to Mishawaka this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll see where we come out with Mishawaka, and then we'll come back and hit practice Wednesday and Thursday, Thursday and Friday, and get ready for team state. So we're right in the meat grinder of the season right now. So it's just trying to keep the kids fresh and healthy. That's the biggest thing right now, and keep them away from injuries. So.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always noticed about Prairie Heights is they aren't afraid to schedule tough teams and go after bigger schools. And I mean, that's one that I've always seen that the tradition at Prairie Heights is very similar to Adams Central in that you guys have always had a lot of success. And at a school that Roy, I haven't seen a lot of success in like other sports like football or baseball or track. Why is wrestling so popular and so good at Prairie Heights?
And I think it just goes back to the tradition that started back in the 70s and in the 80s with Coach Roush and Coach Brock, and then obviously Doug Smoker ran a great program there. I teach at the middle school, so I get a lot of the middle school kids going. My wife's at the high school. She does a lot of recruiting for us. And then we've got the club kids going with the elementary. So I think it just starts with the community support is really big. So Once we got in here a few years ago, that fan base started to come back and support us, and kids are buying in, the fans are buying in, the parents are buying into everything, and I think now we're starting to see the results of what we started 4 years ago.
Yeah. I know you guys are pretty young this year. What's the lineup look like as far as like freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors?
Right now, we only have two of our seniors in our varsity lineup. Our big group is our juniors, which we got a couple kids injured out of that with the Gerber's kid. So we're down a couple kids there, but for the most part, freshmen, sophomores, and a big group of juniors. I think we've probably got 5 or 6 juniors without looking at my book, so that are in the varsity slot. So hopefully, with the addition of Gerber's back next year, that'll help us out there at the heavy end as well.
Yeah, that's definitely bodes well for not only this year but coming next year and even the year after. You guys have a pretty good middle school program going right now with like 50-ish kids.
Yeah, I think last year we were sitting right at 52 or 53, and we had a big group last year that came to the high school, and then we still have a big group of 8th graders this year. So yeah, the middle school program's really been helping us out, at the high school in the last few years. So that's always good to know that you've got 50 kids that are going to want to compete, and 30 or 40 kids at the club at the elementary level. So the more of those kids we can keep stringing along, obviously the more it's going to help us in the high school.
Yeah, you guys have just under 500 kids, so I mean, you take 50 kids, that's a good chunk of the boys in the school, and they're not wrestling, they're probably not doing anything. So
yeah.
One of the things you see at the small schools is a lot of kids are playing different sports. You guys have a lot of football players, baseball, track, cross country kids.
Not too many cross country, but a lot of football kids. I'd say close to half of our kids that wrestle right now are playing football in the fall. Baseball, a couple here and there, but for the most part, football are kids that just work on wrestling throughout the year. So that obviously helps with the weight room and the live wrestling and the off season and all that type of stuff.
How many more Levitzes do you have coming up that are going to haunt the Northeast Indiana area for a while, as their dads did?
Yeah, obviously Doug and Jed are at the high school, and that's John's boys. And then Mike, one of the coaches there at the high school, he's got 3 young sons coming up as well. I think one's in 7th grade. I've got one that's in my 5th grade class, and then one that's in 3rd grade. So we've got some more coming up through, so that's always a good thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. That name's synonymous with just, very good wrestlers, and interactions I've had with them, great people too, so they're probably awesome to have in the room, and definitely good leader. The kids are probably great leaders, I remember watching them when I was in high school, and they just tore everybody up. I know Mike and Kiel Hoover from Central Noble now at Center Grove they had some great rivalries.
Yeah, it's always good to see. Well, we'll see those guys at Mishawaka here in the seating meeting tomorrow for that. So it's nice to see Kale and those guys, and they're pretty good buddies with Tony Curry down at AC too. So we got to see them a little bit. So yeah, they're great guys to have in the room, and great leaders, and just great guys to be around. So they help out tremendously.
Do you have any questions for him, Dane? Any Adams County favoritism or?
Nope. I think that Prairie Heights Adams Central duel will be worthy of a state finals match. I think if you look at there's some big swing matches. If you look at 126, Alex Steele and Andy Oliver, and then the 2 Levitz boys both have 2 of AC's best, and Hunter Bates and Luke Leiter, who's back now. And the heavyweight match could be an interesting one. I think you throw those 4 in, and if you split 2 and 2, I think Prairie Heights probably wins it. If AC can win 3 of those, then maybe AC wins it.
Definitely some good matches, and I know that I won a couple years ago, and the 1A match, everyone, you could tell the kids and the coaches were really into it. So, have you guys done anything special to, like T-shirts, singlets, or anything for the event, or are you guys just, not treating it special, but not over the top or anything?
The only thing we've really done is we got some sublimated gear this year, some long sleeves and some fight shorts. A couple years ago when we went down, we just looked like we were from LaGrange County and what we had on, so we're trying to treat it as something a little bit better this year. No, we went through 3-time gear and got some sublimated shorts and shirts that look pretty sharp, so hopefully you guys can get a look at that come Saturday.
Nice. Well, definitely we're going to start wrapping up. We have go a little bit shorter here since we were supposed to have another coach, but he couldn't make it. So, any last words of wisdom from you, Coach Smith, on your season, on what you guys are looking forward to this week?
This week, just grinding out through Mishawaka. Hopefully, we get some guys to day 2 on that. Go through uninjured and healthy, so that way we can come down and compete well on Saturday. After that, obviously, just getting geared up to the conference tournament and sectionals. So, other than that, I don't have too much on my plate other than staying healthy and getting well rested up.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, and definitely good luck. We'll see you guys on Saturday. I know I will be there, so good luck, and hopefully you guys stay healthy through the Al Smith, and definitely have fun at that seating meeting. I heard it's always fun.
Yeah, it's always interesting. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thanks for joining us, and if you guys are watching online, we have another link for the 2A show that way we don't have coaches sitting around for an hour waiting to talk. So we'll be back in probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.